Processes for constructing a mobile phone dock. That is a timber device holder that can play and charge your phone. Whether this is constructed in plywood, bamboo or timber, this is a suitable project for junior school technology. It's now July 2022. Suitable for Year 7 students, some of the skills developed leading up to the device holder project came from this personal sign task using, that is cutting, shaping and inking 3mm plywood. The strength and durability of this product comes from applying the housing joint, or in this case the housing slot, where the shelf with a gap in the middle that supports the phone is slotted through left and right housing joints. In this case, the upright panel used is 8mm plywood. It's actually two panels of 4mm plywood that's been glued together. And the back piece, that's from the shelf at the front to the legs at the back, is radiata pine. And a number of tools have been used to cut and shape these rectangular joints. Firstly, the housing slots, and secondly, the two-pronged shelf, which is refined using the beveled chisel. For the housing slots, we use a 10mm wide beveled chisel, and for the shelf, it's a 13mm wide chisel. As a work in progress, here is a student example. The upright front panel has a heart shape, and the back piece has two back legs which allow the charger lead to come down through the gap in the shelf and pass through out the legs at the bottom. Showing the cutting out process, here is some sample front shelves with the gap in between, and you can still see the saw marks. So initially this gap is cut out using a tenon saw, and then much of the inner material is removed with the coping saw. So let's have a look at the tools used for the project. Okay, for initial cutting out of the joints, we use the tenon saw and removing the internals of the joints with the coping saw, which has a removable blade. For most of the perimeters or outlines in shaping these panels, we use the coping saw, which can be manoeuvred for hills and valleys and curves in general, and refined using a range of files from flat to curved to square and round. All the shapes and the joints are first marked out using a pencil and a square, in this case a tri-square. For sharpening the edges and defining the corners of the housing slot or joint, we use a chisel in combination with a mallet. In this case, this mallet has a rubber head. And as with working with timber generally, whether you're cutting, shaping, filing or sanding, all timber needs to be secured, so your hands are free to operate the hand tool and to keep your fingers and hands out of harm's way. So here we have a blue and red F-clamp, and that's used to secure your panels to the bench while you are refining the edges of the joints with the chisels and the mallet. So as with all woodworking tools, there are safety considerations for all of the equipment. So from all these tools, which one do you think has the highest risk in its use and safety considerations? In the next video, we'll see examples of student work which is completed at Year 7 level. Looking forward to seeing the results.